Our next guest is a top Silicon Valley venture capitalist and former executive at Oracle who's betting big on mobile and Apple.
Menlo Ventures' Mark Siegel is behind a live video texting app. Also joining us is Michael Gorman from Engadget, of course, John Fort and Walter Isaacson as well. Mark, let's start with you. What did you think of Apple's Watch unveil today, and how are you backing some of these apps that you're hoping will be a part of it?
Well, I thought it was a really exciting launch. I've been listening to what you've been saying the last few minutes before the commercial break, and I think it's true. It was kind of a soft launch on the watch, but it's very promising. I think this could be a huge new product for Apple. And for us at Menlo Ventures, it's really all about the apps. I mean, it's the apps that make the iPhone a great product. It is beautiful, it's lovely, but it's really the apps that give it utility, and I think we're really looking to see if there's going to be a whole app ecosystem specifically around the watch that creates a whole new level of utility.
This, what I see here is called video texting, a video texting app. What is that?
Yeah, you can think of it like very similar to text messaging, but with video, so that you don't actually have to type. So if you think about having a device on your wrist, of course, it's not really very convenient to enter characters in there. And so this way you can respond with audio or video. People are using this today on their smartphone, but we think it's an ideal application for a wrist computer.
Is that like FaceTime that we do already on some of these Apple products?
Well, FaceTime is absolutely synchronous communication. This is asynchronous the way texting is. So what they've done is they've really worked hard on making the video watchable very soon. In fact, you can start watching it actually before somebody is done recording it, but you don't have to reply in real time, and you don't have to set up a conversation with somebody. It can also be something you reply to minutes or hours later if you want.
Michael Gorman, thumbs up, thumbs down so far on the Apple Watch?
I think thumbs up thus far. Certainly it was good to hear about the new battery life, 18 hours. That gets you not quite a full 24-hour period, but certainly through most people's workday. So that was good. You know, the hardware is beautiful. It's certainly they're going after jewelry, and I think they've kind of accomplished that to a certain degree. And, you know, if you're in the market for a smartwatch, I think Apple's got a very clear kind of segment of the market that's going to be very attracted to it.
Jewelry, that's the key word we're not hearing enough about today, John Ford, especially with that 12-page insert that Apple's taking out in Vogue magazine.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of money here in the bands. The basic bands, the basic colors start at $50 each. That's very high margin. Then you've got $150, $250 leather bands. But you know, I'm interested, Mark, in your take on this. We had John Malloy from Blue Run on earlier today asking how he's advising startups around the watch. Is he advising them to jump in and develop apps to try to catch that first wave of users that proved profitable for developers with the iPhone? He said no. Mark, what are you over at Menlo doing with this? Are you advising startups to jump in and really develop and try to make money here, or are you trying to get some of them to hold off?
I'd say very similar probably to John, that we're going to probably wait and see what happens with watch sales in terms of number of units, because thus far smartwatch shipments have really been pretty disappointing. Maybe about 5 million smartwatches shipped. Now, I think Apple could change all that, but just like Glide, we're talking about apps that are today being used on the phone and might have more utility or slightly different type of utility on the watch. But I'd say we're advising caution right now to see just how this ends up going.
Walter, so we had a soft launch. People were acknowledging that. We got a developer, major developer here, who's taking a wait-and-see attitude on this. You think that they're taking, sort of holding their breath at Apple headquarters right now on the Apple Watch?
I think they're going to sell 12 million units by the end of the year, and more than 50%.
Is that good enough?
Yep, and that's more than 50% of smartwatch. Look, we were talking about in the break. You remember Google Glass? I got Google Glass. You're thinking, what in the world would you use that for? But every minute since that Tim Cook announcement, I'm looking at my old, you know, analog watch here and thinking, oh, you know what would be cool? You could do this, you could do that, you could do parking meters, you could do pay. I think people come out of the woodwork, and it may not be the ones the venture capitalists are talking about. It may be kids in their garage in Brooklyn or in, you know, San Francisco.
Hey, Mark Siegel, just on Glide and some of your other investments, is that where you are right now? Are you looking for more sort of video apps? Where are you looking to put your money? Is it hardware, software, apps?
Well, it's mostly in apps, not so much in hardware, although we do look at hardware startups. But We like the whole messaging space, companies that take off there, and we saw this in spectacular fashion with WhatsApp. When they do take off, they tend to be category leaders, and they take off in a huge way. Same thing with a company like Snapchat. So we like that category, but we also like transactional apps, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity potentially, like with Apple Pay on the watch, for instance, for more transactional or subscription type of applications to work well also.
This is Walter Isaacson. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about the health and fitness category, which hasn't been done as much, but this seems tailor-made for that? Are you going to see a lot of developers going either at health or at fitness?
Well, there's certainly a big push in the advertising around the watch for all the health and fitness, and that's been one of the key features of the smartwatches that are available on the market right now. But I'd say, if you look at consumers have really spoken with their wallets and have not purchased a whole lot of these, and so I think there's a lot of other alternatives to the iWatch for just the fitness. So I think it's interesting, but I don't think it's the killer app.
Michael, we've given you, shortchanged you. Let me give you the last word here. Clearly, Walter Isaacson's going to buy an Apple Watch. Who is the classic consumer for this item? Who's Tim Cook hoping is going to buy this thing?
I mean, I think they're just trying to get everybody with an iPhone. I think that's really how ubiquitous they want that to be. I mean, I think that's really aimed more for, obviously we're not talking about the gold edition, because that's, a few people's pocketbooks can spend $10,000 and upwards on a watch, but because it starts at $350, I think you're going to see, they're looking at the same people that buy iPhones. They've made the watch to kind of fit into their lives as well, in addition to kind of MacBooks and the phone. So I think that's really who they're going after. Again, we've kind of said we don't know what the killer app is, and I don't think they're going to be able to reach the full iPhone kind of audience until they've kind of found out what that is.
Well, we know already. It's video texting. Right, Mark?
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. Mark Siegel, Michael Gorman,
Yeah.
thank you both for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.